What's going on, everybody? Mike here, and today we're going to be taking a good solid look at the Kimber R7 Mako Tactical, because this is a Mako and this right here is also a Mako. The main difference being one eats U and the other one eats 9mm, and it's a lot more fun to have in your hand and get some use of out on the range. But all joking aside, this is actually a really cool little pistol that I've had several requests to take a good look at and maybe do some comparisons with against other things in its class. So if that's of interest to you, make sure you let me know in the comments somewhere throughout the video. Now, before we get started, I'd like to take a minute and thank all of my Patreons. It's because of you that so much of the stuff I do here at Tactical Considerations is actually possible. Now, if you are interested in supporting the channel in any way, that link is down in the description below. But the Kimber Mako, so the R7 Tactical version, is new and comes with some different stuff like the threaded barrel and a Holosun 507K on the top, right from the factory. Now, this is Kimber's entry into the striker fired 9mm market, which obviously has a ton of other offerings already. But the R7 Tactical model has the Optic included, this version being a 507K, which is a really great option from the factory. I've carried several of these and are one of my favorite micro optics. It also comes with a threaded barrel, so you can add a suppressor or a compensator at your leisure should you be interested in something like that. It is a 9mm coming with 2 magazines that have a 15+1 capacity for an overall carryability of 16 total rounds. It will come with 2 magazines that have extensions on them with this model. However, there are other magazines that are flush fit with several other offerings that Kimber does provide out there in the market. The stippling on this one is going to be great. It is that aggressive yet not abrasive sandpaper style texture, and it's just some of the best out there. I'm a huge fan of texture like that because it's really good for grip, and it's still not so aggressive that you can't use it inside the waistband for concealed carry. It's got really good grip angles on it and ergonomics in general, much more like the M&P style angles on it, and slightly M&P-ish looking slide stop and slide release looks to it. This comes with fully ambidextrous controls, right? Slide lock, magazine release. My lefties are getting that love that they need and want so bad when it comes to the pistol market. It also has an above average trigger for a striker fired rig. We will definitely do some trigger pulls here in a minute on the gauge to show you what it's all about, but it's far better than a lot of other striker fired stuff out there in the market today. The slide has front and rear serration, so you can work this from the front or the back, whatever you're into. Nobody's judging you here. And it has an interesting feature on it being a right side only ejection port, which is due to the, I think it's Bubitz or Bubbitz Browning design. It's an improved design on how the barrel locks up. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. Now, the Optic cut is deep into the slide and allows you to direct mount 507Ks or RMSC style optics directly to the slide very low, which is awesome because you still get to use your factory night sights, which are going to be a white dot rear and a bold orange in the front. Overall, great setup. You also get the accessory rail out front, so you can put all the options your little heart desires on there should you be interested. Now, size-wise, she's kind of in like that 43X from Glock size area. It does look bigger when you just look at it alone, but relatively, it's pretty much the same size as a 43X. Now, I know some of you need and love a full spec sheet, and you have to have it, so here you go. If you guys like seeing videos like this on the Kimber R7 Mako Tactical, or you find these videos informative or entertaining, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That's gonna do a couple things. One, it's gonna help me out a lot. And two, it's gonna make sure you don't miss any of the content. And then the third thing it'll actually do, it's gonna tell YouTube to push this video to other people, some of which maybe are looking for information on the same stuff, and others of which maybe have never seen Second Amendment content before and can help turn some of them around. There'll also be a build list link in the description down below. It's the first link, and that'll have links to everything we talk about in the video today, so you can do your own research and probably some ways to help you not pay full price for things. All right, since I know some of you guys need to see the finer details of the R7 Mako Tactical, and of course see this thing on the trigger gauge, let's go ahead and get into that stuff. But let's quickly talk about what this thing is gonna come with, starting off with a genuine cardboard box, okay? You'll get the Kimber R7 Mako. Obviously, if the tactical version, it's gonna come as you see here. You get 2 of the magazines, and then you'll get this nice kind of carrying case. You will get your standard kind of stuff like a sticker. It will have your manual down in there. It will have a chamber flag. Then you've got a couple of different compartments in here that you can use for different things. And then you'll get a little rubber band kind of thing So let's get this out of the way and start moving on with this here Mako. So as you can see, quite a bit different looking of a pistol. We've got that texture, sandpaper style, all the way around the front of the magazine, around the sides. The only place it's not is on the back right there, but that's kind of really not where your palm's connecting with it anyways. So that's the one place I'll give them a pass on, but it's everywhere else. You've got some little side swells right here on the grip. I'll try to give you the best look I can at those. Overall, just very solid. Those ambidextrous controls are easy to get and work. And then the slide serrations obviously are very easy as well. But you can see right side ejection port cover, very, very interesting. And then that texture goes all the way forward, so you can just get meat everywhere on that frame and control this pistol. Now, one thing I want to show you guys is the difference in this design. So for your factory maintenance and cleaning, I have to say that so I can actually take this thing apart. What you're going to do is pull back, push down on these levers right here, much like other striker fired things out in the market, and then pull the trigger. It comes slightly forward and comes off like that. So as you can see down in here, very striker fired looking indeed, until you look at the barrel. And this is going to be part of that Bubitz design, I think his name was, and it's like an improvement allegedly on the Browning design, because as you can see right there, the lockup is in the rear instead of up here at the front like you would see on a Glock or something. So that's why there's that ledge right there. And that interfaces up into the top of the slide right there. So very cool little design, and I guess a little bit of history if you didn't know. And as you can see, I did not clean this little thing after my last range trip, and then it just goes back. Another thing you'll notice is putting this thing back together, you don't slide it on like this. It's kind of more like the Arex kind of design. You get it basically over the edges right there, it drops in, and then you are good to go. Do your functions check and that stuff right there. So let's go ahead and do some trigger pulls here, because I'm sure that's what you all really want to see. And I want to say it's probably 4.5 pounds, but it does feel quite a bit better. So there's your take up, and it just breaks. So there's like no creep. I'll go real slow on this one. Reset. There's your wall, and just a break. Very solid feeling trigger for sure. Let's do 3 pulls here, unless I do something weird. We'll see what we get. Okay, so that one came out at 3.38 pounds. That's a little light. I want to say it feels more like 4. I'll pull a little higher on the trigger shoe this time. Give it some variance. Oop, slipped, got to reset it. So that's the one thing about striker fired triggers. If you slip on them, did it again. All right, get that trigger shoe safety. There we go. So 4.62, that's really where it feels to me. I'll do one more unless I slip again. All right, and that one came at 3.8. So any variation in the difference in weight there is going to be from where I am pulling that trigger at. But overall, that thing is just a very solid trigger, and it is better than a lot of other triggers out there in the striker fired game. Pretty solid stuff right there. So I've had this thing for a little over a month, and I've got a few hundred rounds for it at this point. Out there running on the range, I've run into 0 issues with it cycling any type of ammunition that I've thrown at it. And that's been everything from 115 grain ball all the way up to 124 grain plus P-Spear Gold Dot, the hollow point style stuff, which is what I personally carry. But I did try a couple of other brands as well. All of them ran just fine. The overall performance on the R7 Mako is solid. The recoil is much like a Glock 43X, which is pretty much what I expected out of this style and size and weight of pistol. The texture here honestly is a huge help. The fact that they have put that grip everywhere, it just seems to help you control this thing, and it feels more solid as compared to other things out there that maybe don't have as much or as aggressive of a grip texture. For me personally, I really like the fact that the optics cut is deep into that slide, because when you mount an optic on it, it's much more in line with where your eyes would naturally be if you like iron sights, and that helps me get on target just a little bit faster. Now, a huge plus for me also is the fact that the trigger guard right there is actually sized a little bit better for a pistol this small. What I mean by that is a lot of times I have trouble getting my finger from the side of the frame into that trigger guard, especially on like the 365 from SIG. I find myself dragging my finger across that trigger guard, and then I just slap the crap out of the trigger on the first one. It's not overly big, but it's enough for those of us that have like hands that size right there, where we can just sweep it off the frame and get it right in there. And I can definitely appreciate that, and I know a lot of my other Mongo hand-sized friends can appreciate that as well. Overall, there's just a lot of positives here on the R7 Mako Tactical. Now, when we talk about price point, it's all over the place because there are so many different models, right? There are the standard version, there's standard version with flush fit mags, standard version that have more mags, the extended mag versions, the optics included, and the optics included tactical version. I think there's a Crimson Trace model, and then there's this specific one with the 507K, which would be my personal choice because the 507 is an outstanding optic, and I think they run like, I don't know, 250, 300. So the gun starts around, I think, like 550, and then I think if you get the one with the Holosun, I think the store price is like 850. I think they might be sold out, but I'm filming this video like a month in advance, so they may or may not be back in stock by then. But overall, not bad for the way it comes equipped and the way it performed out on the range. I think I really want to do a well over 1,000 round review on this thing because, like I said, this was a request from viewers, and also maybe do some comparisons. So if you are interested in that, let me know in the comments what you want to see it compared to and how many rounds you want to see a follow-up video, because I've only got about 300, maybe a little bit over on this thing, and honestly, for the modern striker-fired pistol, 300 is like nothing. Until you get to like 3, 5, maybe 8, 10,000, then we're talking some real good testing, but I just can't afford 8,000 rounds and everything I test. So if you want to see that, let me know down in the comments and I will get at least some of those done. Make sure you absolutely roundhouse kick the subscribe button, and remember that parts list link is the first one in the description if you want to do any of your own research about anything we talked about here today. Keep doing it out on the range. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will see you on the next one. Dude, this is the dirtiest ammo I've ever seen. Look at that.
What is that?
I don't know, but it is like excessively dirty.